Welcome to an all-new episode of XPod. At XPod, we promise something and we keep up to it. Today, the topic that we want to delve upon is basically every fitness enthusiast's passion, that is, if you have taken to desiring a sustainable living. Our guest today is somebody who is not just a holistic integrative nutritionist, she also happens to be someone who's extremely rooted in the basics, applies the principles of Ayurveda, and teaches people how to live a simple, basic, rooted life followed by spirituality and mindfulness. Welcome our guest today, Karishma Shah. Hi, Karishma. Welcome to XPod. Please take your place. So welcome, Karishma. You have brought a pretty pop of cheer to our couch today. So, Karishma, you are an integrative nutritionist. The first and foremost question that pops to my mind is, what is integrative? And how do you bring about this integration, and in what really?
So integration basically just means that, you know what, we have a lot of different dimensions. And how can we just look at one thing when we're trying to solve a bigger issue? Let's talk about health issues. Anybody going through an health issue knows that it's not just about a particular symptom, or it's not just about only the physical aspect.
Right.
It's started through a different aspect. Most of the health issues, most of our mental health issues, they begin actually in our subconscious. They begin in the mental aspect first, in the subconscious level first. Then they move on to the physical aspect, because the body is trying to give you signs. It's trying to give you symptoms and signs to be able to pull your attention to that level.
Right.
And the last part being that we're always going to try to bring the solution in a 360-degree formula. So if we integrate, my personal formula of integration is that I work in a 5-fold program. The first one is your physical health. The second one is your nutritional health, which is your food, every single thing that we consume, right? The third one is our emotional health. Very, very important, because our relationships, every single thing in life is stemming from our emotions.
And it has a big play in your lives.
Yes, yes. The fourth one, again, so big, our mental health. Every single thing to do with our psychology, our behavior, and the way that we do our daily interactions in life. And the fifth one, and a personal favorite, is spirituality.
I will particularly delve into the mental health, emotional health, and spirituality part with you in our next segment, which is Expert Talk. So, Karishma, आप mindfulness की बहुत बातें करते हो और spirituality के पे भी काफी कुछ आपकी बातों में material होता है about spirituality and how people should sort of resort to mindfulness and spirituality.
Yes.
I have a question. On a day-to-day basis, what are those minor little tweaks that you can bring about in your lifestyle to just make it better?
Yes. Thank you for that question. It's very important for people to understand कि पूरा दिन 4-5 महीने हमें बैठ के साधना नहीं करनी to be able to infuse that element inside us. Spirituality, mindfulness, all these things, they begin first from a really low grassroots level. Let's understand how. So for example, I recently I went for a talk, and I recently had a boy who was 25 years old, and he asked me a question, and he said, I'm very stressed about my work all the time. I'm constantly thinking about my work all the time, and I don't feel calm. I don't feel restful. I don't feel mindful. How am I supposed to infuse that? I asked him about his day, and this is how it begins. So from the time that we wake up in the morning, let's look at our activities that we do. I've woken up at a certain time, and my daily habit would be probably I'll go out in the sun for a while. I'll sit. If I'm sitting, can I take 5 minutes to myself, absorb all the morning energy, right? Set an intention for the day, give a very, very big thank you to God for making every single day possible. Thank you for parents, thank you for my family, thank you for this voice, thank you for this power that I'm going to be now infusing in the world ahead.
Yeah. As opposed to just picking up your phone and engaging with Instagram the first thing when your eyes open.
Yes.
Yes.
So starting point is that. The second thing is, I asked him, what's next now, right? What do you do? So he said, I would have my breakfast. And then how do you infuse it into that? I'm like, अगर आप बैठ के breakfast कर रहे हैं, और अगर जो भी बना रहा है खाना, माँ, दीदी, cook, whoever, एक पराठा अगर आया आपके सामने, have you really focused on that paratha? Taken one morsel of it, enjoyed the flavor, enjoyed how the aloo is tasting, enjoy that chutney achar that you're having it with. One thing, but if you're just so happy about experiencing that one aloo paratha, it's hit you in a different level.
Yeah. It's more
That is
satiating.
mindfulness.
Yeah.
Next step, I've met my parents. I'm speaking to my parents. They're sitting over here. And I've greeted them, hi, how are you, and everything. Everyone's going, in the next 10 minutes, everyone's going to flutter off into their own lives. But if I'm sitting with my parents, did I actually really share something with them, that आज ये करना है, आपका क्या एडवाइस है इसके ऊपर? आपने अगर ये पहले किया था तो थोड़ा एक इंसाइट दे दीजिए. They come from years and years of experience, you know,
True
and we
that,
sometimes
yeah.
just negate what our parents tell us all the
And we
time.
just discount their experience and assume that they cannot add
And
value.
that 5 minutes of, you know, that attention on them, that advice, we take it, we don't take it, it's absolutely okay. But to be able to give them that attention,
Yeah,
to be able
yeah.
to give them that happiness for
Yeah,
5 minutes, we've created magic over there. That's mindfulness.
I know what you're talking about, and I just want to turn to all our young audience, especially the Gen Zs and the people in the 20s and the 30s who are kind of battling with stress on a daily basis, or at least perceived to be super stressed. I think this is what we need to do. We need to be in the moment. That's exactly what you sort of,
Yes.
that's what I'm hearing you say, that
Yes.
you need to be in the moment. You need to be enjoying what you're doing rather than thinking of the future, thinking of the consequences. Isne ye kaha, usne wo kaha, yahan, wahan. You just need to take what you have and make gold of it, right? I mean, that's the essence of mindfulness.
Absolutely.
The moment you start understanding yourself better, does that lead you closer to spirituality?
It 2000% does, which is why so many people tell you that, you know, the minute you invoke living in the present, the minute you invoke the consciousness within you, we use these big words all the time. What are the meanings? It is as simple as being present. I'm sitting in front of you, I'm looking into your eyes, I'm giving you my whole attention. We're talking in
An
this.
exchange of energy. I
I'm
feel
giving
it.
this is what consciousness is.
Yeah.
And if we try to complicate it and make it look like something metaphysical, we're just getting involved in something which is commercial. It's not. It's something as simple as what you and me are doing on a day-to-day basis, repeated cumulative effect of something. I always say this with diets. I always say this with meal plans. I always say this with fitness. Cumulative process. It's not what you do one day. It's what you do consequently for 30 days,
Yeah.
60 days,
Yeah.
90 days, and then you get to enjoy the fruits of that for the next 30, 60 days.
Of course.
Because
You
that's
have
the
to be
magic that you've
consistent.
created.
Yeah.
That is consciousness. That is living in the present.
That sounds like what we do at HRX. I mean, we constantly talk about how you are an entire package. It's not just about physical fitness and physical well-being, but it has to be a summation of physical, mental, and a lot more. I mean, whatever you manifest is what you become. So in a nutshell, that's what we are talking about right now. You mentioned nutrition, Karishma, and you have a very special way of sort of conducting the nutrition sessions or nutrition advice that you give out.
Yes.
You infuse Ayurveda and very, very basic principles of living into your nutrition plans.
Yes.
How do people take it? Because Ayurveda is basic, it's simple, it's non-glamorous. It's not a product of capitalism, right? It's not fancy seeds, it's not broccoli, it's not avocado.
Yes.
It is just basic living. How do the people you counsel resort to moving towards living a simple life?
It's Vedic wisdom.
Yeah.
The application of Vedic wisdom is very simple. You first need to learn it yourself. You absorb it. It kind of replicates in your day-to-day activities. We have a very simple thing known as doshas. 3 main ones. There is Kapha, Pitta, and there is Vata. These 3 ones are present in everybody. However, what happens is, because of the lifestyle that we lead, because of the mindset that we have, the conditioning that we get, the kind of body type that we're born with, right? And the kind of food that we eat, all these things, they imbalance 1 or 2 doshas in our body. So, you know, when one of these elements becomes really high in our body, we can understand this if we check the nadi, our body temperature, the way that, you know, we lead our lifestyle. So we understand this through those kinds of things. I can come to know if there is a higher amount of pitta in the body, there is a higher amount of vata in the body, or there is a higher amount of kapha in the body.
Do these things kind of translate into the regular lifestyle issues that we're faced with, like acidity, bloating, gassiness? Is that something that happens because of the imbalance in the doshas?
Absolutely, 2000%. Let's understand how this happens. When I speak about something known as pith, you know what pith is? Pith is the amount of fire that we have in our body, the kind of agni, the bile that is produced in the body. It actually derives from our digestive system. Second is kapha. What is kapha? It's mucus. It's basically the earth element, and it kind of like ties you down, right?
So makes you lazy and
it doesn't.
slows you down.
Yes.
Okay.
And the third element, which is known as Vata, is the air element. So the more that we are extremely creative, we're very, very, you know, we're overthinkers, or we're very restless, right? It means that the higher amount of air element in our body. So every kind of ailment that comes to us then, and guess what? It's something that you're born with, and you can't change it over a period of time. It's just how you are. It influences your personality. It influences your communication. It influences the way that you live your life. It influences your choice of food. It influences your exercise regime. It influences everything, which is why I said it is Vedic wisdom.
My God. So basically, you can predict what a person's future is going to be like by knowing their doshas. This segment is all about your story.
Yes.
So we want to know about the principles that you thrive on as a person.
Yes.
My first question to you is, you have taken on to something which is not mainstream.
Yeah.
And you've been doing a lot of work and a lot of deep research into this. You live a very, very regulated and a controlled life. How do you manage your clients and your work and living in such a basic way?
I don't like rules. I don't make them for myself also. I'm the first person who will go ahead and make my own rules or probably break them. I think everybody should. Every single time that you see any kind of glass ceiling, take 2 stones instead of 1 and break it. So I feel like that's number 1 for everyone. It's really important to do that. Having said that, it doesn't mean that you live a life of recklessness or no discipline. There is a structure which is needed. No military rule, but a basic structure, something that increases your productivity levels, something that actually brings out more of the power that you have within. So I do thrive, or I do live my own life in that perspective. I live my life in a way where I will eat not to be able to fit into a particular size or see a weighing scale. I will eat for my energy levels. I will eat to be able to help people through my consultations. I will eat to sustain my energy throughout the day. I will eat to sleep really well in the night. I eat for these reasons.
Right.
The second thing is that when I am, because we as women have so many roles to do, all this requires a lot of time management.
Yeah.
And it also requires another thing. It needs razor sharp focus when you're wanting to do that particular thing.
Yeah.
How does that come? It comes when you yourself are really calm within. You cannot be very anxious. You cannot be an overthinker. You cannot be all over the place if you want to make the inner creative power come out. I always say it's divine power within us. All of us have divine power inside us. It comes out in different ways. For some people, it comes out in the form of creativity. For some people, it comes out in the way of their voice. But all this needs power. All this needs a lot of power and a lot of energy.
Sure, yeah.
You have to eat, you have to live your life in a way where it's in line with the energy that you have and in line with the energy that you wish to put out.
Right. Karishma, you consult people, and consulting typically in the world of nutrition is about absorbing a lot of woes. Like, people must be just sitting and discussing their problems after problems.
Yes.
That's a draining job.
Yes.
How do you feel at the end of every day, and how do you kind of purge that out?
I'll answer it in 2 parts. The first part being that, yes, it's very draining. Yes, it's a lot of energy exchange. And it's usually a lot of giving
Absolutely,
all the time.
And giving gets very, very taxing.
Yes, it does. It does. And it's also physically very taxing for me.
Yeah.
Which is why I do make sure that I'm well rested. Because you know what? You've come over here with a sense of responsibility towards me. And I want to be that responsible person. I want to be able to heal you. I want to be able to shift that energy. I want to be able to help you. So I'll make sure that I am in my optimum best first. I never do things when I'm not myself, when I'm not okay. I won't do a consultation. It's not fair for the other person. It's a simple example that I give, my team members also. अपना कप 100 तक भर के रखना है रोज, क्योंकि उसमें से 50% आपको देना पड़ेगा, बाकी का 50% अपने लिए रखना पड़ेगा. अगर आपने सिर्फ 50% अपने लिए रखा और दिन चालू किया, you're going to be over with it and you're going to be exhausted, tired, cranky. So I make sure that every day that I wake up in the morning, my glass is 100% so that I can give 50, 60, 70 on certain days.
And also what I heard was the 50% for self-love. I think that reservation is something we've kind of come across earlier also, and you said the same thing.
Yes.
Fabulous. I think this has been by far one of the deepest sessions at Export, where we've kind of delved into the innards of the human emotions, human heart, mind, and we've kind of decoded some of the emotions that we really grapple with on a day-to-day basis and how it needs an exit. Karishma, your parting note for this session, because it's been a beautiful one, and I just feel a little overwhelmed myself. So parting note is all yours.
Go out there, do everything that you want. Don't give a damn about what anybody says, because it doesn't matter. They're not paying your bills. It doesn't matter. You are paying your bills. You're doing what you want. And at the end of the day, just love yourself and love the people around you, because that's fuel. That's fuel, the 100% that I was telling you. That's fuel for your life, for your energy, and for the power that you have within.
Thank you. हम एक्सपोर्ट पे इतने अच्छे अच्छे लोगों को बुलाते हैं, इतनी प्यारी प्यारी बातें करते हैं, इतनी सारी इन्फॉर्मेटिव बातें आपको बताते हैं, और इस सब के लिए हमारे प्यारे गेस्ट्स को we need to gratify them, or we need to give them this beautiful hamper from our gifting sponsor, Prestige Identity. Karishma, If this reminds you of another show, please don't mention, but this is our very own
Thank
hamper
you.
for you.
Thank
Please
you.
take it back home and have a
Thank you.
great time with it.
This is lovely. Thank you so much.
Pleasure's all ours. Thank you for being here and sharing your nuggets of wisdom with all of us. We spoke about Vedic wisdom. I'm going to do some deep research and we want to continue talking to Karishma in the future, keep bringing her back to Export and sort of maybe deep dive into this again. Thank you so much for being with us. Hoping to see you with the next episode of Export.